tier 2.
Oh no,
Switch to the shared chat.
I haven't missed too much. I'm level 12 on my character sheet, unless you leveled
Oh
me up
no,
for me.
you may not have missed the level up, but boy, did you miss some lore.
Oh God.
Oh,
What what did I miss that I didn't get a chance to fuck up?
lots.
Thankfully.
Yeah, because or has a bad habit. Except when she
So,
donkey kicks snake things.
let's back it up and let's do some basic run-of-the-mill welcomes to everyone here, including our dear friends and colleagues who have come to join us for the shenanigans that is the episode 32 of Siege of Etheria, or Beyond Etheria Ashes. So, we have with us, of course, tonight our wonderful performers, those who live on the stage of this interesting story that has been weaved for them. We, of course, have Rexus playing Okros the Lion Folk. We have Stealth playing Nez the Changeling.
Hello.
We have Aura here in a surprise appearance,
Hi.
who is played by Jenna.
So often. Yeah, sometimes.
We, of course, have Blackburn playing Mr. Creed.
Pleasure to have you as always.
And we have a secret fifth member who will be introduced here in but a moment.
Is he a permanent friend?
He might be. Who's to say?
Oh. Unless I end up killing him somehow.
You better not. So, let's talk about what happened last time. So, what happened last session was a lot. The party had gone down after fighting through the Great Scorched Sands, made their way to the Cradle of Life, and of course, the castle of Shiva, who they believed was the one setting fire, flame, and ruin to the lands in between these farms. That he was the one who was bringing forth ruin to those who simply wished to live. And so, as heroes do, they went to confront the man and were greeted with the most hospitable greeting they could imagine, of food, of drink, of camaraderie, of this large four-armed demigod simply greeting them as long-lost friends as they entered the castle. He explained that he was not here to conquer, he was here to defend. That he came to the Cradle of Life as it is something important to him, that food and shelter and water are principles of life, and that his soldiers that they saw were not those running forth to cause mayhem. They were simply trying to control it. They did not start the fires, they were trying to quell them. But unfortunately, to some of the towns, especially Durian's Watch, the fires had grown uncontrollable, and he asked the heroes that if you really wish to show that you are a part of my cause, this cause that I wish to uphold with you, I need you to go take care of this. I need you to help me. A god asking a favor of the heroes was something short of extraordinary as they went to try and find the cause of Durian's Watch's flames. As they approached, they found that the wardens they had fought previously, the large armored behemoths that had withstood punishment from their blades and blows, had now stood armored with a device that shot dragon's breath in front of them, ripping apart everything in their sight. The party, after taking a few singed bones and putting down the metal, defeated the creature, allowing the soldiers to come in and clean up behind them now that it was safe. They then moved to Demiosen, where they found that it wasn't as it seemed. As they went to Demiosen, they saw that it wasn't under threat from anything from the outside. They found a alchemist who was peddling new tonics to help people feel better, to be their best selves. Unbeknownst to him, he was being sabotaged by another. that same one using those tonics that he had amalgamized and malformed, turning the denizens of Demiosin into nightmarish creatures of their monkey's paw wishes, fell to his own ruin as he became a massive creature of brute strength and no intelligence as he was fought valiantly by the heroes. After putting him down to rest and finding the alchemist once more, giving him back what he had lost, and telling him that if he was able to cure the people in this town, that they may come eventually to forgive him for everything he's done. Past that point, they returned to New Haven. Once they returned to New Haven, they found that something was different in the air when they returned. That there was almost a heavy weight to it, as when the Valkyrie landed, now being repaired and finally airborne after crashing into the Great Scorched Sands, the losing of their goblin friend that destroyed Watcher's Rest, turning it into a crater. They returned to New Haven to an air of heavy, unsaid words. As when the Valkyrie landed, they were greeted by not only Leandros, as he congratulated them on a job well done, coming home with all their fingers and toes alive and well, but that Azrael, the rabbit folk sniper that they had met months ago, was also there, and he simply handed a letter to Nameless, simply telling him that even though it's against his own humble opinion, that he's a better shot than Azrael could ever believe himself to be, and therefore that he was being asked to go far away as part of the Force Recon group that they had created to try and take out some of the smaller gods that were trying to pull apart the regions they had freed. That Nameless was being tasked with going and removing problems off the board so that you, the rest of the heroes, would have the opportunity to survive and go further. There were tears and sadness as he accepted this charge, knowing that he would not see you for quite some time, that he may not see you at all if he doesn't come back. But he accepted it regardless. And that night you feasted, you reveled, you regaled tales of everything you've done, from the highest points to the lowest, from everything that has scarred you, scored you, and made you who you are, was celebrated and brought to the light. And Leandros promised you that hopefully they'll find Aura and bring her back so that she can join the fold, but then also that they have someone else that needs mentorship, who needs an outlet for what he is going through.
Find Aura? I was with them last time I checked.
No, you weren't. Shush. To give this new soul a guiding light in a land that has been nothing but struggle. And so, as you all celebrate and you watch Nameless go off with the rest of the snipers, the rest of the Force Recon group jumping into a large vehicle and driving off to the horizon, you are greeted by a sound of almost clinking metal and shuffling bandages together. As you see Leandros walking towards you with a tall, slender humanoid next to him. The humanoid is of average height and of average build. His skin, or what you believed, seems to be wrapped in these tight-fitting gauze bandages. His face is obscured by his hood and his mask that he wears. And he has a scimitar in his left and a large bag on his back with multiple pouches of what look to be healing salves and vials around his belt, along with a healer's kit strapped to his leg. He carries the red cross of a medic on his chest, even though he seems that he has seen more than just healing. And as he walks with Leandros still dwarfing him being a Goliath, he turns to all of you and says, "Well, it seems that it's time again to send you away. another time, another place, another spot of warning. But, as I said, you would have another person to stand with you against this darkness. And here, so I introduce Adarian. He is one of our medical officers here in New Haven, and he deemed himself fit to volunteer to join your group, as he had heard of your doings, and he has witnessed some of them when you were here last, when you had secured New Haven personally. And so he decided that he would be a good fit to hold the place of Nameless while he is away. Go forth, Darren. Introduce yourself to your new adventuring party.
Hello.
A man, a few words, I see. Very good. Well, I will leave you to it. I need you all to come see me in the command hall once you are done doing what it is you need to do. Introducing yourselves, getting yourselves settled for the trip ahead. Something strange has come to my attention, and I believe it's time we sent you to go figure it out. And so the Andros turns, walking away back towards the command hall, leaving the four of you with Adarian.
Well, Adarian, it's good to meet you.
Likewise.
Tell me, do you enjoy coffee?
Very much so, yes.
Ah, excellent. A man of culture. Of course, without his kitchenette service. Anybody else like some?
Suppose a fresh cup would be wonderful. Welcome to the... Welcome to the team.
Thank you.
I could use a cup of coffee too, and how's that bag holding up for you? Is it able to carry all your materials, or do you need something better?
So far, it has been meeting my needs. Thank you. If you are able to upgrade it, though, then perhaps at a later date, you will look at it.
As you were all conversing between yourselves, as you're welcoming Adarian and Okoshu, of course, are making coffee for the group, you all hear a knocking from inside the closet of the Valkyrie.
Who would be in the closet, guys?
I haven't seen Aura for a while. Did she lock herself in the closet?
You
gonna
hear
go
muffled
closet door.
yelling from a certain sea elf.
Let me out! I'm stuck! Help!
How in the devil did... Someone go let her out.
I'll take care of it.
Let me
Nez-
out of here, it's dark.
Nez, as
I was
you
gonna say, I'm gonna walk over there and be like, do I really want to open this?
as you approach the
It's
closet
dark in
door,
here.
you can see that there are claw marks around the keyhole, that would lock it shut. And you can see that there is what seems to be a piece of a hunting blade shoved into the keyhole and snapped off inside of it.
That fucking cat locked me in here. Let me out.
What'd you do to the cat this time?
I took his tuna away and traded it for halibut.
Oh, you monster.
I was gonna give him sunfish next.
Do you even
Let me
understand
out.
how bland that tastes to us?
I wouldn't do it to you, Okos. You're nice to me. You deserve the sunfish.
Well, did you learn your lesson being locked up?
Ooh, what's these sharp things in here? I think these are throwing stars I have found.
Don't let her out. She's gonna throw those at us.
Yeah, no, I heard that. I was like, I guess she still needs to learn her lesson.
I cut my finger, guys. Let me out. I'll donkey kick you if you don't let me out of here. And then I'm gonna start donkey kicking the door.
I was gonna say, you can't donkey kick me if you're stuck in there.
You know what? Roll me athletics, Aura.
Okay, hold on.
Uh-huh.
You said athletics?
Uh-huh.
It's a +6, so maybe it'll be in my
Maybe.
favor. I got a 22.
So you start donkey kicking the door, and then you remember you're a druid, and you turn into a donkey and kick the door open. And as you do, you fall out of it covered in mop buckets, what look to be old sardine cans. You are covered in gefilte fish. It is just disgusting when you just kind of slide out of this closet. And of course, there is a singular throwing star that seemed to have been left in there that you can clearly see she cut her finger as she was playing with it.
So is there supposed to be pun and the fish falls out of the closet covered in fish?
Yes.
Hi, guys.
I'm gonna pick up the throwing star.
Very good.
Don't touch that, it's sharp.
Oh, gross, you have that coffee ready?
How you doing?
So, Darren, as you see this group of misfits kind of converge together, you see an interesting mix of folks kind of sit down around the table as this sea elf who has pale blue skin and white hair carrying a trident along her back sits down at the table as she wraps her finger in what looks to be a tea cloth, as she just seems to be whinging about cutting her finger. Next to her, you see a about 6 foot tall individual sit next to her. His skin is almost like gray and pale. His hair kind of changes color as he sits. It's very a shimmery platinum, as he has a mask on his right shoulder that has been tied to his armor that has a large blast and scorch mark across it. On his back, he has a backpack that has these little robotic tendrils almost come out that seem to help him with fixing things, as he has a little turret that follows him around. Next to him, of course, you see a red-colored tiefling with slicked back hair and a somewhat maintained and trimmed beard for all intents and purposes of being away in the field for some time. He wears very thick armor that is beautifully adorned and trimmed with different colors that contrast in the light. A large symbol of a raven on his right shoulder with a beautiful cloak that runs down his back, as he kind of sits with a huff, begrudgingly pinching the bridge of his nose at the sight of the sea elf holding her finger with the tea cloth. And of course, the large 7 foot tall lion folk who pinches a percolator between his large fingers as he pours out the coffee between these smaller cups that he expertly and deftly carries and moves to the table with the skill of an expert barista. Even though that these cups are too small even by his size, he just simply moves them as if by magic or by experience. Who's to tell? One of them sitting in front of you, as he then retrieves a larger mug that fits his hand just a smidge better as he joins the rest of you at the table. The smell of coffee and food fills the air as you all sit. As you essentially wake up. You're waking up to the morning. The sun is rising upwards. Leandros has brought this newcomer to your table and says that there is a mission waiting for you at the command hall. But there is always time for coffee and a story.
Laura's gonna notice Etheria now, squint her eyes, point at him with her cup, and be like, "Who are you?"
This is our new team member, Etheria. He is filling in for Nameless while he is otherwise occupied on other missions.
Nice to meet you.
Hi. Are you gonna throw me in a closet?
Do you deserve it?
Absolutely not. Don't listen to what
Then
these scoundrels
absolutely
tell you.
not.
I do no wrong. Do no wrong. I'm a good bean. Don't listen to what these scoundrels tell you. I do. I've never made a mistake in my life.
Creed is going to visibly pinch the bridge of his nose even harder. To the point of nearly drawing blood.
Now, Darian, you are not ignorant to this team and what they've done for the Resistance, what they've done for Etheria, or beyond Etheria at this point in time, what they've done for the Vale. They've secured this region. They have freed New Haven, the Broken Talon, Westmunster, Thurble. They rebuilt Glacier Keep. They even retook Ravenholm. And that they've also been the ones that went to Scordoon and secured that area in Adriel Cove. They have become legends in their own right from the Eternal Watch and otherwise. But one of them sticks out to you the most. You have heard the stories of Creed. You know of his rank, his stature, the legend behind him, a man outside of time. And he sticks out to you the most, as even though he has been said to be 50-ish years, he doesn't look a day over 30. And that's even impressive for a tiefling. But as he sits there, you can see the scars along his body that peek out from beneath his armor, his dented and tinted plates. And it seems to be almost like a starstruck moment as you are now sitting next to the watch commander of the Resistance, Leandros' right-hand man, the person who saved Leandros, the commander of the Resistance, the Goliath of the realm, multiple times from certain death. And as you look at each of them, you know they each have a story to tell. And it's still incredible to be sitting here amongst these heroes in their own right. But no sooner do you kind of fall into this starstruck feeling, you hear very fast footsteps coming up the ramp. Hello! I heard you all here. God, you finally returned. It's been so long. I've been so lonely.
Clem, welcome in. Come have a coffee.
Oh, girls, you've always been so kind. Dear.
Laura's picking up her coffee and leaving the room.
You must sit down. I have news. Much news. Sit. You smell like a gefilte fish. Why?
Can somebody else give us the news, Clem, or do I have to listen to your tiny voice say it?
You wound me, but if your words meant anything, they'd hurt more.
I'm gonna, Cora's gonna like smack him, pop him on the back of the head as she walks past him again.
Ah! Wow, what a woman she is. It'd be a terrible thing if she didn't have legs. As he snaps his fingers. And, or your legs disappear as you kind of...
I'm just gonna turn on my stump and glare at Clem and be like, give me my legs back.
Ah, they're locked behind DLC
So,
now.
I have a question. She was
Yes.
holding her coffee when that happened, wasn't she?
Ah,
I have 2 hands.
the coffee is fine.
You just fell like 4... Well, not 4. You fell like 2 feet.
Look, with a wave of my hand, the coffee's now in my hand. 2 coffees for Clem.
I always knew you were greedy, Clem.
Finance wizard.
The man is
How's it
literally
go?
into finance. I suppose being greedy comes with the territory.
You tell this little shit to give me my legs back. Agreed.
I don't think I will do that,
Well, then I'll start singing. 99 bottles of rum on the wall, 99 bottles of rum. You take one
I
down,
wouldn't
you
know.
give to the clown.
Sure would
98
be a
bottles
shame
of
if
rum
Reed
on
didn't have a mouth.
98 bottles of rum
Ah,
on the wall.
but I
98
like
bottles
this
of
song.
rum. You take one
You
down,
take one
give it
down
to
and
Reed.
pass it around, and 98 things on the wall anymore. Yeah, sing it more.
97 bottles of rum on the wall, 97 bottles of rum.
As
Take
Aura,
one
you
down,
just
give
feel
it to
yourself
Reed.
being
96
pushed
bottles of rum on
further
the wall,
back into the
96
Valkyrie,
bottles of rum on
your
the wall.
voice drowning out as you further go
Take
back.
one down, you give it to Creed. 95 bottles of rum on the wall. 95 bottles of rum on
Jenna.
the wall. 95 bottles.
You have been pushed to the back of the Valkyrie. You are a very tiny voice now. Ah, the bit.
I'd rather not go drink anymore.
Ah, so,
Ah,
besides
okay,
her
that's fair.
being mean, I changed my mind. Or if you stop singing, can I give you back your legs?
Yes.
Good. Your legs have returned, but don't make me take your face. I don't have enough caffeine in my blood system to deal with this in the morning. Now, as I was saying, for what needs to be done, the news I've brought. 1, you'll be happy to know that Glacier Keep is fully rebuilt thanks to you. Appreciate everything you've done, heroes. The money that has been disappearing from your coppers has been very beneficial to setting up the town in a better light. The wreckage that was dealt by the large amalgamation of troll gizzards seems to have disappeared completely. It's been wonderful. But, past that, I've heard whispers that you have a certain King Dick shaking in his silly sandals. What? No one? No one's gonna say anything about me? I'm trying to be dramatic for you guys.
It's been a long journey. I finally had a chance to just sit here.
I don't
And
even know who we're
relax.
talking about. There's lots of King Dicks and sandals. Who are we talking about, Clem?
Also, don't know who we're talking about. This is
Ah!
excellent copy, though.
Who are you? You're new. I don't recognize your
Ah,
face.
yes, this is our new member.
Likewise.
Ah,
We don't like this one.
speak for yourself, Aura.
Does anyone actually like Clem, or is it just me?
I have no issues with him at all.
Did he not try and kill you
He's a
too?
respectable individual.
Do you understand how long that list is?
It's a long list.
You
I've
know,
seen
I-
it.
Adarian, this is Clem, also known as Finance Wizard, also known as Munchkin McGee, also known as the man who tried to kill us over money.
No, no, no. I tried
Nice
to
to meet
kill
Tried to
you.
kill you over lying.
See, Okros gets it. He remembers it correctly. Pleasure to meet you, Adarian. It's wonderful to see another face among the heroes of the realm, especially if they are meant to bring in more good tidings to the land beyond the realms. Now, the man I speak of that's shaking in his sandals seems to be the one that you all seem to be hunting with such fervor. The big man in the clouds, the Mr. Throw Lightning Bolts guy.
Oh, Zeusy Poo.
Sure, if you say that. I wouldn't call him that. I'm not that close to him, but sure, Zeusy Poo. He seems to be... He seems to be, I wouldn't say terrified, but definitely is a bit shaken by your advances and how well you've been doing when it comes to taking back what he's rightfully tried to take from you. The fact he's thrown multiple things at you and you've just shuffled through it, he's kind of embarrassed, honestly. But unfortunately, that means that he's cranking out more wardens, and he's pushing them towards the west to stop you from approaching him entirely, as High Charity has gone on high alert. Nothing can get close to it.
Aura's gonna mumble under her breath when you said he's shaken. He's gonna be a smart ass and not stirred.
That's right, he's not stirred because he's a person. He's not a drink, Aura. God, I thought you knew better.
Yeah, you killed my brain cells, Clem.
Feeling is mutual. Anywho.
Can I have the cat back? I'll trade the wizard for him.
No. Anywho. I bring two tidings that Leandros will speak to you of. He's going to give you two options of places to go, things to see and do. What you choose is up to you, but you'll see that one of them will most likely have a greater effect than the others. It will make sense when you see him, but just know that you've shaken somebody, and that means that you have an advantage, but you also have his attention. So be wary, be smart, and don't die. You bring in money. You're very important.
Your concern is appreciated.
And, I do consider you compatriots in this matter of fighting for the good fight. As I'm doing my own fighting here, mostly upon the toilet because I'm old as shit. But, it happens to the best of us. I can't go and adventure with you as much as I used to. There. My knees, you see. It does. The time keeps ticking and it doesn't stop ticking. But I'll leave you to it. Okros, thank you for the delicious coffee as always. And Leandros is waiting for you, so I wouldn't keep the man waiting. He's been very jittery the past few days. I think something has gone under his skin. May want to make sure that he's also doing okay. But I'll leave you to it. Au revoir! As he walks out of the Valkyrie.
Bye, nerd.
Well, suppose we should finish our beverages and head out then.
I need another coffee. The midget took mine.
It's on the table in front of you. Also, he's not a midget. Stop calling him that.
He's a gnome.
He's not even a gnome.
I know, but I think of him as a gnome. I'm sorry.
I see him as a short little gnome midget thing. He's probably no shorter than I am, but he's short.
Okay. What do you all do?
Well,
I know,
I'm
right?
finishing my beverage and getting ready to go see Leandros.
I'm finishing my coffee and still poking at the wound on my finger because it still hurts.
All right.
And I'm probably gonna go shower because I smell like fucking fish.
I mean, that's also
Oh,
fair.
what the hell you call him, Three Dog?
I think me. He was calling me Three Dog.
Fair enough.
Creed is going to just sort of throw back the rest of his coffee. Then, make his way out.
Fair.
I'm giving Okros the cup because I finished the coffee, and I'm following Creed out the door.
I also return my cup and follow still. Or Nez, sorry.
All right. So,
Well, I take care of cleaning everything up and follow them.
you all exit the Valkyrie, walking down the ramp and into the city of New Haven. And as you do, it seems to be a bustle of activity. Soldiers walk wearing different colored pauldrons and different colored uniforms, all wearing the same emblem of Ravenholm, much akin to the pauldron that Creed wears. Though the one thing they have all in common is a yellow ribbon tied around their right arm, matching all of you. And as you enter New Haven, you see these large trucks belching green fire and smoke driving around as they're picking up soldiers and moving them west. You even see those large machines that Leandros helped design, these things that they've called knights, that have these pilots with them that seem to just slowly, begrudgingly walk across the landscape. Their own massive engines spewing this smoke as they go, just the deep rumble of their cores, shaking the very ground they walk on, besides the pneumatic thumps of their feet. You see these other trucks with flatbed attachments set up to take large pieces of ammunition and crates and such, slowly driving behind them. It's an entire movement force going westerly towards Westminster, following the main roads as they just slowly march. And as you approach the command hall, you see a number of higher-ranking soldiers there, some of them wearing officers' collars, some of them wearing senior enlisted pauldrons, veteran sergeants and watch sergeants and the like, all of them turning and saluting all of you as you pass. Even you, Etheria, which is odd. Being a medic and being one never really to hold high rank, being respected as such by being in the presence of these heroes is an odd sensation, as you've always been used to being in the background. And as you continue walking down the hallway, you come to the large doors that lead to the war room. As you push them open, of course, you see Leandro standing in front of a map table, multiple rolled up parchments in front of him, among other things. As he sees you enter, he goes, "Ah, it seems that you've arrived just in time. I imagine Clem came to see you. He stopped by here after realizing that you had arrived, very excitedly, mind you, to meet all of you again and to see you. I imagine he spoke of that there are two things I wish for you to look into as well. The man has never been good with keeping secrets or spoiling the surprises."
He is certainly quite the chatterbox.
And that's what makes him a good individual to have towards the front sometimes, is that no one really believes he's a threat. And then he is. Wonderful work he does when the time is right. But besides that, the two targets I have for you, two things that I wish you to look into, are two things of high importance. One of which brings you back to the northern side of the western region. Our forces are moving currently to Westminster. They're going to push across the ocean past High Charity and land in Dunbarn. We're going to be trying to establish a foothold, try to make sure that we can put boots on the ground and take back what's left, as what has been protecting the region from us approaching seems to have dwindled, as you've definitely shaken someone's attention. We, of course, are not going to directly assault High Charity, as we've tried. We sent a scout boat to go see what we could find, and it was shot out of the ocean by lightning itself. Whether that was Zeus or some other amalgamation of his magics is beyond my understanding, but it means that it's too dangerous to approach still. So that means that we need to take the rest of the land by force. And so we will be approaching the northern area to secure it. But there are two things that were brought to my attention. There's, of course, Martyr's Wake to be dealt with, which also means the town of Falkar needs to be secured. And then, of course, there is the news about the broken spire, and how Arawan has been sitting there almost waiting outside the entrance of the cavern that collapsed all those years ago. And those are the two that I wish for you to look into for the time being, to let you go and see. And as he's handing these two rolled parchments to you, just to kind of for you to look over what his orders are, the doors slam open as a scrawny man runs in a bright blue uniform, out of breath, sweating, as he hands Leandros a scroll, as he has to take a knee and breathe, as it looks like the man just ran miles to get here. And as you look down,
my water flask.
and as you look at his armor, you realize that he must have, because he's currently wearing the symbol of the broken talon on his left shoulder, the fortress you secured on the southern end of this region. He takes the water gladly, downing it back as he tries to catch his breath in between, as he is just drenched in his sweat. As Leandros takes the scroll from him, cracking the seal and opening it, his eyes go wide as he simply hands it to Creed and goes, "I think you're going to wish to look at this."
Of course. And Creed will take it.
You look down through the scroll, and it's a report from a set of scouts that had been stationed along different parts of the region. Their job was to go and look for survivors, or to just see where the enemy is weakest and report back. They use colored flares from time to time to signal those that are watching them from the fortresses, from the airships, etc., what they have found and if it's worth it. Something quick that they can set on a timer and run away from if needed. This one, though, was different. They said that the report stated that they saw one of their scouts climb to the top of the glass keep and fire a flare saying that survivors were left. That the glass keep is still occupied by friendly forces.
What news, Creed?
It would appear that, all in all, this is just an offer to return to my greatest hits. The survivors of the Glass Keep.
What?
I'm...
How is that possible?
As Creed says these words, that there are survivors and friendlies at the Glass Keep, it all sends a shiver down your spine, as all of you, minus Creed, heard the tale of the fall that befell this keep, of the 20-day siege that enveloped it, when Ares, Crom, and Balder had encroached on it, had broken multiple holes through Brocken's pass, making it easier to cross to it, as they laid their armies down at it. And even though that it was already decimated, from Creed's own testament, as he was there when it was originally sieged, as there were holes left in it from Crom's original assault. But you all hear and remember the story of that 20-day siege, of how they still stood standing, and that the stories that came out of it were nothing short of horrific, and that the keep had fallen. It had become a testament to the hubris of those who wished to stand against the gods, that Zeus himself made an example of all who stood against him. But now, you're being brought a report from scouts who were there in person that there are still soldiers fighting off the creatures of those 3 different demigods away from the walls of the Glass Keep. That the fort has not fallen, as the stories told you once before.
If this is true, then they desperately need relief.
How
What
are
say
there
you, Creed?
survivors? How are there any survivors? I don't understand.
I know not.
I mean, I suppose if we just start in the north, we give a refuge. He just sort of trails off.
Leandros looks at you and goes, I don't know how any could survive that long. It's been years since the 20-day siege. We thought that the keep was lost, that the sands around it were simply glassed. That even St. Radric had fallen to the pummeling forces of Crom and Balder, and that Ares himself had planted the flag underneath his father's feet. But it seems that we were all wrong. That if there are those still standing there fighting, how they got there, I am not one to say. But they're there. And I think that's the biggest question that we have. We have not been able to send supplies to the Glass Keep in years. We finally have the ability to leave this region going north, using the Arctic to cover our approach to even make it to Dunmarn. The only reason you made it to the Scorched Sands at all was because you have the Valkyrie. And past that point, any other travel has been just through sheer luck. So it begs the question of how? And I feel that is a better mystery than anything else you could solve. Now, you could, of course, still go about wherever you wish to go. If the pain of you going back to the Glass Keep is too much, then go a different direction. We need to take Volker. We need to take Dunmar. We need to take the Martyr's Wake back. We also need to find out why the Broken Spire is acting the way it is. Why it seems to be humming with power again, with that god of death standing in front of it. But if there are those fighting in the Glass Keep without reinforcement, without supplies, without fortifications, and they are still under siege from whatever god's minions descend upon them, I feel like that must take precedent. I will not be the one to throw you simply into the fire. That is, of course, your choosing to go where you see. But that brings thorns to my mind. It scatters my thoughts of how, why, and why now.
The only intent or reason for me not to want to go directly there is the fact that, dare I say, and I know it is more than just a touch ironic, the timing is a little odd, and just questionable. After all this time, it's impossible. You secure the north. There was, once upon a time, efforts made to shore up the defenses north, near Fulcar and Damarin. If we're able to establish those, re-establish them as it were, we should be in a good position to help anyone Glass Keep.
If that is your choosing, then I will. You are the watch commander. I chose you for a reason. If that's what you wish to go and do, to take the northern front, to resecure those two towns, hopefully pull them out of the rut that they may be in, or even just secure the land that they were once on. We are not entirely sure that they are still there. Then by all means, take your approach. Go to Fulcar, go to Martyr's Wake, secure the northern point, and then, of course, take Fulcar and reinforce it. Or if you wish to simply go to the Glass Keep to find out why it's there, we know that the defenses have been thinning. Maybe it's you've pulled the gods' attention enough that maybe they've been able to give them an opening. But I do agree that the timing is strange, and one that does not sit with me quite well. But if there are those of our people that are in trouble, I cannot stand idly by. I would have to try and get someone there, but if we take the normal route, even with this military that we have mustered from volunteers, from conscripts, it will take us days, a week, if not more, to get there. And that's if we don't hit as much resistance as I believe we will. But the strike team...
There are survivors, and they need help. They may not last.
They've lasted this long, but there's also the question of, have they been there the whole time, or have they simply arrived there and have taken shelter? But much akin to what you said, Okros, if they are in danger, they may not last the week it takes us to march our forces down there and secure the perimeter normally. It's a decision I do not wish to force upon you, nor do I wish to force it upon any of my other commanders. If I could simply go myself, I would. If I hadn't already sent the scouts out to go and try and deal with the problems that have arisen from Head Thunder, then I would. But I'll leave it to your best judgment, all of you. And Darian, and I'm sorry that your first outing with these heroes will be one of such dire straits, but maybe your skills as both a medic and an arcanist could help in this situation, if they do wish to take that path. Otherwise, the North calls.
It does not sit well with me to leave potential survivors unaided. But I will leave the decision to you.
By your leave, War Master.
Leandros just raises his eyebrows at you and goes, "Say again, Creed."
I believe this is going to be one of those things where we're going to have a debate. And I'm sure you have much more important things to handle than this. I'd like some time to review our options, discuss with the others, figure out what the best course of action is going to be, sir.
By all means, take the time you require. This was not something that I foresaw happening. I don't think any of us could foresee happening at such a dispute. Please, take your time. I would say not tarry, but do as you must. I'll leave you to it. I must go and speak to the generals, because if we are to push to Dunmar, and if there are survivors, then we must make haste, and that requires more preparation than we have already put forward. And he bows his head to all of you as he quickly steps out of the war room back into his chambers.
Well, one decision or the other, Creed. I'm gonna go see the artificers and make sure we have enough materials and explosives for whichever you choose.
Creed, I assume the command center there's like the stereotypical big map on the table.
Yes, many big map.
Perfect. Creed is just going to like stand there slowly rubbing his chin, staring at the glass keep on the map.
Okros is going to walk up to Nez before he heads out and hand him 300 gold and say, while you're out, please, we could use a restock on potions.
Stuck on potions. All right.
Right, and Nez, you of course go to the artificer as well as the supply hut, essentially. You'll get 8 greater healing for about 250. And then, of course, you'll get enough explosives and scraps and such you need to make about, I'll say about 10 pounds worth of explosives easily. High grade.
So my goal was to try and get the explosives to at least make 2 of those claymores we talked about.
Yes, you can easily do that with about a pound each.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure because I was just like looking at our
So you would have
specs again that we did.
Yeah, you'd have 8 pounds of material left, 2 that you can make, and the 8 potions to bring back.
Okay. And then I did want to ask the artificers about how they were doing with the Benelli.
They look at you as they're working on it, and they go, We've made some interesting discoveries. One, we don't know what the fuck this thing is. We don't have the tools to machine apart. We've made pieces, bits in here and there, and it's been rough goings. We've been trying our best with how to kind of put these things together, but I think Jim said he had an advancement. Jim, stop touching the wrench, Jim. Jim, come here. As you see a goblin kind of come up to the counter, as he looks up at you past tinted goggles that are just like way too big for his face. He goes, yeah, I'm Jim.
So you're making some advancements, you think?
I make it go Taco real good, I tell you. I use these sticky bits and these sharp bits, put it together real nice. I think I've made an advancement. I haven't fired it yet. Too scared. Jim's good at a lot of things. Keeping fingers is not one of them. As you see, he's missing 2 fingers.
Yeah, I see that. Well,
We can give it a go right now if you want to see it. Give it a quick shot if you think you got the bits. You hold it though, Jim. Watch.
I kind of want to fire this. Let's go.
All right. So he hands you this fucked up Benelli. It is not pretty. It is not machined. This is all hand ground, hand filed parts that they've had to kind of fit together over the body to make it work the way it's supposed to, that they kind of saw in the schematics, but with the lack of advanced machining tech that they have. So it's thick, it's heavy, it doesn't make a whole lot of fucking sense, but it seems to work. You kind of pull on the charging handle that looks to be made out of a bolt that's been welded to a block of metal, and it moves. It slides back and recoils forward like it's supposed to, like what you dreamed about. It makes that nice clack that you dreamed about. And so he hands you 4 shot shells that he's made from the schematics. They, of course, look a little weird. And he goes, "You take these. Take a swing. Take a shot. See if it goes. If you lose a finger, not Jim's fault." And of course, here comes Carson with the Friday fun fact. Happy Friday, the 100 folds in a chef's hat represents 100 ways to cook an egg.
There's 100 folds in the hat?
Yes. In like an
Yeah.
authentic chef's hat.
Yeah.
Huh.
Thank you, Carson, for the gift subs and the biddies. Hello, lovely. I hope your shift is going the well. Now, you take the shot shells. Do you load them? Do you try?
I'm gonna inspect the shells and see how I feel about how well they were made. If I could do that.
You feel they're mediocre. They could have been done better. They could have been done worse.
The way it's sliding, it clacks. Let me just like look at this a little bit more and feel like, I don't know about this. You're making me worry about losing a finger now, Jim, especially since you're not good at keeping them.
Jim's only lost 2 of them. You got 10. You'll be fine. Just don't put your fingers inside it. That's what Jim found. Jim found you put fingers inside, you lose them. Don't do it. It's a trick. There are no gubbins inside the barrel when the machine is working. Jim learned hard way.
This is sad. Let's see. Can I like set it up to where I make sure it's down, aimed at a target with a rope?
Yeah, you put it to your
To pull the
shoulder
trigger.
and pull the trigger like a man. Like the engineer inside of you really, 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 really wants to.
Wants to. No. Yeah, I'll shoot one shot.
So you
I don't
load
know
the
about shooting
shell,
all 4.
you clack it, and it loads properly, which is a good sign. Again, a little heavy, feels a little rough. You know, the weight's not exactly where it's supposed to be. You know, not as you imagined. You know, and Doesn't jam, doesn't fire by itself. Seems pretty good. And you pull the trigger, and it just fires a beautiful shot. The slide kicks back. It kicks a little bit harder because a little bit more mass behind it than normal, but it fires and it just blows up this watermelon they had placed for you. Everything seems to work accordingly. James said I didn't. See, you doubted Jim just 'cause I lost 2 fingers and have 2 Garanthum.
Well, you definitely did a good job here.
Jim said he did a good
Sorry for
job.
doubting you.
Yeah. Everyone doubts Jim until Jim's right.
This is definitely a very nice prototype.
But if works, Jim make it better. Jim make fix. Make sure you don't lose finger.
That would be really nice.
Come see Jim back in week. Bring gubbins. Jim give you big gun. Much like I said, big DACA for big boss. Give you lots of gubbins. Real good shot.
I look forward to seeing the upgrade you're going to do to this.
Yes, Jim must work now. Jim has much work due now. As he kind of takes it from you as he just like waddles back into the tent, as one of the artificers kind of like pats him on the head. He goes, "That one's a good egg. I'll keep him around a little longer. Hope he doesn't blow up like the last one." As he turns as the flap closes behind him.
I'm just going to look at my hands after you took the finale away, going, man, I kind of wish I just kept it.
Sucks.
But,
But you make your way back to the command hall as you plan and tinker with these devices that you've been planning on making, having your materials and your potions and your munitions and all your other nonsense in your bag. As we swing back to Creed, rubbing his chin as he stares at the map, pointing at the glass keep.
Oh, might help if I unmute my microphone.
A smidge.
Is Okro
Yeah.
still with him?
Yes.
Yes.
Nah. He's gonna stop and just staring. My mind tells me to go north, but my heart tells me to go back to the glass keep. If we can secure the north, we'll be in a much better position. But if there are survivors, we have a duty to help
Maybe
them.
not be able to wait for that.
I don't think this is a decision I should make.
Well, we both know where my decision lies.
You know, for a lion folk, you really wear your heart on your sleeve.
It is an honor to my people to do so.
Credo give a little wry smile. I guess it's always time. Well, there's always time to go home.
That it is.
Oh, they survived for so long.
Regardless of whether they survived for that long, they simply took refuge there. If they exist, they deserve our help.
See, here's the problem. This is something that's, I guess, a major reservation for me. If we've rattled Zeus, as Clem has implied, this could just be a trap.
Trap, yes.
Rationally, I know
Question
that.
is that the risk you're willing to take? Potential of saving those who may be under duress.
Needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. But I suspect you're right. You know, I've been a soldier most of my life. For the longest time I thought I knew what was right until I didn't. Evidently, I'm now a paladin. The chosen champion of a god. And you're the one telling me what's right. There has to be a joke somewhere in there.
Perhaps. The gods are known to guide in strange ways.
Oh, Creed's gonna reach one of his hands out, just run his finger around the glass keep on the map. I suppose we have our destination then.
Then it is decided. To the glass keep.
Well, you know what? Since we're in town, Creed will kind of lean forward. Actually, how tall is Okros? Actually, I
7
forgot.
foot.
Let me check something real quick. Creed's not that short. He's not 7 feet. So much for what I was about to do. I feel like no matter what I try to do there, it's gonna be a little awkward. I was just thinking he does the whole like stand up, throw his arm around the other guy. Let's go on out. You're a full you're a full 8 inches taller than me. So
He was like hanging off his shoulder. It was like, yeah, buddy.
it's more like
Around the waist.
Creed's arm
Yeah.
goes.
yeah. I really don't want to open that door. So
But the fan
you
art.
can walk up behind,
No,
pat me
no,
on the back of
no.
the shoulder and be like, come on, let's go.
Yeah, we'll do that. Creed will just stand up, like pat Okros in the back of their shoulder. What say you I treat you to a nice meal in town?
Ah. I'm always up for trying the local cuisine.
I'm thinking something with spice, personally.
Ah. I like it already.
Yeah. Leave the command center.
Alright. So as all of you funnel out of the command center, you run into Nez, who seems giddy, as he's playing with these 2 curved plates in his hand. He's kind of just like messing with them as he's feeling them over.
Well, looks like Nick got himself some new toys.
Indeed he has.
What you got, Nez?
Definitely not safe for you to touch.
Well, that makes me want to see him even more.
If you want to explode and blow up,
Give me.
no.
Or he's gonna reach. Or he's gonna reach out for the thing. What am I not touching on?
Helping
this?
hands, and I'm just gonna like use my helping hands to like just push her away.
Or you're just getting like pushed back by like 4 of these little mechadendrite like tentacles as you keep trying to reach for the plates in his hands.
I just want to see it. I won't push any buttons or pull any switches. Just let me see.
You can see with your eyes without touching.
I want to touch. I'm very kinesthetic. I have to hold to learn. Give me.
You're what?
Yeah, no.
I'm very hands-on. Give me the boom booms.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely not in the middle of town.
Fine. I'll stop if you let me see it when we get back to the tavern. I won't push any buttons or pull any switches. I just want to see.
We could go into the testing grounds later and you can see them.
Deal.
I don't even want to do it in the tavern because of... I like the place that I drink at.
I'm not gonna blow us up.
To be fair, the last time we were in a tavern, you started a fight.
To be fair, you got a little too drunk and continued the fight.
Well, you know what? I stayed in town minding my own business. I didn't go off to some other town to loot it and get into a fight. I was doing fine drinking until you showed up.
I showed up after donkey kicking the fuck out of a snake and winning us a fight. I'm bad. I'm bad.
Darian, you're watching the four of them go back and forth like this as you're all walking towards a little hole-in-the-wall restaurant that's near the townhouse you stay in.
Okay.
You're just seeing that there's history between these four heroes, quotation marks, and that they're all a little bit odd in their own way.
I think I'm gonna break everything.
But as the five of you arrive at this little hole in the wall, it's called Cutlet's Corner, and it's known for its spiced shawarma.
That's a shawarma. I'll pretend I know what that is.
No gross moment.
Pretty tasty.
Pretty tasty.
You had me at spiced, honestly.
I just want chicken tenders.
I used to fucking order shawarma at my workplace every fucking month.
Or I was gonna look disappointed and be like, I just wanted chicken tendies.
They have chicken tendies.
Okay, well, I'll have chicken tendies.
But you all enter the restaurant, find yourself a sit-down spot, and enjoy a good meal while you're in town. Something that you haven't been able to do in a while. You spend the next couple hours talking, mingling, learning more about your new compatriot, Etheria, and what the plan is going forward. That after you've eaten, that it'd be best to get back into the Valkyrie and head for the Glass Keep. You know, that'd be about 10 hours travel from here, so you'll have time to sleep on the ship on the way. And that hopefully, now that the Watcher's Rest is a crater, there's nothing left to shoot you down if you take the right way. And you do just that. You have your tendies, your shawarma, your kebabs. You eat, you mingle, you return to the ship. As the ship's engines whine and you take off, you begin to fly towards the Glass Keep, taking a wide berth around High Charity. The first two that are selected for first watch is Okros and Etheria. Nez, Creed, and Aura, you go and take your 4-hour sleep before it is your turn to go take watch. And so, Okros and Etheria, You two are sitting in the cockpit of the Valkyrie as it is flying across the ocean. Currently, at this point, you're flying over Broken Talon, and you are crossing over the crater of Watcher's Rest.
Much preferable to our last flight over this place.
I much prefer having my feet on the ground, actually.
Understandable. It is an acquired taste, hate the skies. But it is efficient. And it lets us get where we need to. So I make do. Sir. He says you are a medical officer, yes?
Yes.
Having somebody who knows their way around wounds would be very helpful. Be warned, though, that this may be more combat intensive than your usual.
I am as well equipped in dealing wounds as I am in healing them.
Most things.
The hours pass easily with small talk and observations. You speak quaintly about what you've done, and where you've been, and what you plan on doing eventually. Nothing nothing beyond the superficial. And as the alarm clock near you and your compatriots goes off, the two of you trade places with the three compatriots as Nezkri and Aura. You take the cockpit watch for the next 4 hours as you get ever closer towards the Glass Keep. Your leg of this watch brings you over the ocean as you see High Charity to your right and the Broken Spire to your left. High Charity looks just as intimidating and foreboding as it always has. A blight upon the ocean, a floating city of an amalgamation of hatred and arrogance. And then, of course, the Broken Spire being reduced to a mountain with what looks to be a tower coming out of the top of it that has long since collapsed. Seems to glow with an eerie green light.
Creed, is that a green light normal over there?
No. It's not.
I'm wondering if that has to do anything with the god that's over there. Then.
Wait. You said the Broken Spire is glowing green?
Yep.
Yeah.
Define normal, technically.
Normal is not that.
Normal's not that.
like part of the Godfall? Yes. Did it glow? Yeah. Is it supposed to be glowing? No. You know?
It's the last time you saw the Broken Spire back in the first campaign where the cave-in happened, where Max was sitting on the throne as he turned out to be the Undying King. The circuit, so to speak, that held the gods in play, the Pandora's box that you essentially had to open to unfuck the cycle. That light died as the magic re-entered the world. so it became dark. So there hasn't been light coming out of it for many, 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 many years. But now there seems to be a green glow coming upwards through the broken parts of the broken spire that lay in the mountain itself.
What's important to know is it's not good.
Oh. There's never good news. Just more bad, I guess.
And as you all look towards High Charity, as you pull your eyes away from the broken spire, you can feel someone staring at you. As you can swear a thundercloud begins to form over top of High Charity. As if someone is just staring daggers at your silhouette as you fly past its border.
That's right. That's right. Just Creed watching as they go past. Like staring at like the neighbor you hate who's outside on his lawn as you drive past, just I know you're there.
As High Charity leaves the peripherals of the viewing windows of the cockpit, as well as the broken spire, the glass keep seems to come into view more and more. The clouds kind of shifting away as you decrease your distance. And as you come closer to it, you are at essentially a few hours before dawn. So it is the darkest before the dawn, essentially.
There's
And as you're getting closer, Creed, you can swear up and down, left, right, center on everyone that you believe in that you see something akin to muzzle flashes around the walls of the glass keep. And a lot of them. And not at you, mind you, but they seem to be pointed towards Bracken's Pass, towards Cauldry.
of course as soon as I stuff my face with crazy bread. Well, oh gross, I suspect you were right. Looks like someone down there is giving Bracken's Pass one devil of a fight.
Am I awake at this point, or am I still sleeping?
You would be awake at this point. The alarm has gone off as you guys are on your last hour of approach.
If all else fails, I was willing to have him mutter it.
That's fair.
Fair. Yes. Seems it was a wise decision to come here out.
And what's even odder, as the Valkyrie comes closer, you, of course, aim the ship towards the eastern side of the glass keep, away from what you deem to be the muzzle flashes, Mr. Creed. As you can start seeing the shapes that those muzzle flashes are firing at. Silhouettes of monsters, creatures, seeming almost like frost and fire giants and imps and minotaurs and just these creatures from different mythos, stories that you were told by your compatriots 14 years ago at this point, from their own mythos, their own stories they carried with them when they arrived in your world. And you see that these are just showing up in waves, trying to push across Bracken's Pass, across the sand that has now been turned to almost a flat plain from trotting feet and some kind of heat and magic that has turned some patches of it to glass. But as you land, you are not greeted by what you remember of the Glass Keep. It's the people you fought with were, of course, orcs and elves and dwarves and Goliaths and giants and everyone in between. Lion folk and feline and high elf, wood elf, dark elf, and etc. Of all these different races that kind of bounded together in the Glass Keep to fight under one banner to keep their home safe. But as the Valkyrie comes down, you see a group of 8 individuals approaching you. They all seem about the same height, same build, and their skin looks the same. And they just seem peculiar to you. Even the clothes they wear seem odd. It seems as if they've simply picked up uniforms laying around the Glass Keep and kind of put them on, most of them ill-fitting to their build and stature. They seem to carry weapons of strange design, of just something along the lines of those strange bolt actions you ran into years ago. Those strange lever actions the Glass Keep used for their militias. Powder rifles and such. Even some more sophisticated things that you've never seen. Those things that have only been used by some of the more elite of Ravenholm's forces. Prototype weapons that Leandros could only dream of giving his soldiers to keep them safe. And as the ramp opens and you step down, you're greeted by one of them that walks up to you as he has a thick brown beard and almost tan pale skin. His ears are rounded. He's got what looks to be a tan that stops at his neck where his uniform cuts down, where the skin beneath his neck is paler than what's above it. And he's got a bulge in his lip as he spits down at the sand, just a brown liquid hitting it. So she goes, "Who you supposed to be, huh? We ain't seen no command officer around these parts in 20 fucking years. Been stuck in this cesspit, fucking sandbox."
I'm sorry. My first thought was, of course, cut off from like the rest of the realm for like 10 years, surrounded on all sides by gods who want to kill them, and they still somehow find a way to get chewing tobacco. Of course they do. Of course they do.
Give me a perception, Kareem.
That's not a great start.
Is it chewing tobacco now?
That's a 13.
You have a revelation as he's talking to you. As you look at him and the rest of the soldiers that are next to him, as your own group follows out behind you, and you realize why their appearance was so unsettling to you, yet recognizable, is that they're all human.
Whoa, hang on a second. Wait a minute here. Wait a minute. Oh.
Let's fucking call it.
Well, that successfully stopped anything I was gonna say. Thank you for that. That's fun. You know what? I'm just gonna go with it. Freed's jaw just drops when it registers, and he just stops dead in his tracks. He went from arms crossed behind his back, like posture of an officer, to just complete and utter shock. Like, just watched a dog jump in the air and do 360 flip. Like, he is just, I don't even know what to do now.
Your eyes go past this man that's in front of you as this man and his squad are eyeballing the rest of you. None of you know who the fuck these people are or what they are. You've never seen a human in your fucking life. You've heard stories from Creed, mind you, all of you minus Etheria. But Creed, as you look past this man, who's spitting, chewing tobacco at the ground near his boots, who's holding a weapon you've never seen, who's wearing a uniform that seems mismatched and patched together, you see behind him another group of 30 that are in the courtyard past the broken wall of the glass keep, as they are inside, seemingly getting briefed by another one. You see silhouettes along the wall of more of them. And even there are some that are walking to and fro inside that seem to be wearing almost Crusader uniforms? Like that of the Templars?
Aura's gonna walk up to this dude and poke him in the cheek.
Wait a minute. Hang on a second. I think you saw the same YouTube video I did.
No.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute here. Hang on. Wait a minute. I just sent you the link. Did you see this recently?
No.
This is just
That's just hilarious.
That is just hilarious coincidence then, because I sent that to Doug, and I was like, the more you're talking, I'm like, wait a minute, I know this scenario.
Aura's still walking up to him and poking him in the cheek.
You poke him in the cheek, and he goes, "Ma'am, can I help you?"
What are you? I've heard of your species.
Species,
What
a harsh
are you?
word to put to it. My name's Sergeant Graham, USMC. And as soon as he
What's
says
the
it, you
US?
see the 7 guys behind him just go, "Oh, rah!" He goes, "I'm a Marine, ma'am.
What
Can you
are
not
we-
poke me in the face?"
I'm a marine animal too.
That's not what he means.
He kind of looks at you up and down and goes, of course you are. A Marine recognizes a Marine." As he just kind of slowly nods at you and looks back at Creed, as goes, "Sir, are you okay? You seem like you've seen a ghost."
And Creed visibly shakes himself. I like to roll perception to try to see his rank.
Go for it.
Aura's just gonna keep standing
That's a
there
13.
poking him on his arms and stuff.
You're just gonna keep poking him while he's standing there talking to Creed? Sure. So
Yeah.
you keep poking him. You can clearly see he has 3 what look to be, as what you can imagine, chevrons of upward arrows on his chest.
Alright. Report, Sergeant.
He goes, "We are the 35th. We are 80 strong, holding this site. We don't know where the fuck we are. We thought we were in Iraq. We are currently inside of a fucking castle, inside of a desert, being attacked by what I can only assume are mythological creatures from our nightmares. Sir."
Question: can I use my mold earth to mound it so I can get up higher, so I can reach higher?
For what purpose?
Dared to find out, actually.
I'm shorter than this guy. I want to be eye level, so I need something to stand on. So I'm gonna mold the earth and make myself a mound of earth.
Sure, you make the earth beneath you rise up 6 inches, so now you're taller than him.
I'm gonna knock on his head.
You knock on what sounds like a hollow helmet that he's wearing.
What is this? Why is your scale so big? Why is it one big scale and not a bunch of little scales?
Because, ma'am, that is not a scale. That is called a Mark III helmet, and I appreciate you not knocking it on while it's on my head, please.
Sergeant, I must commend you on your rather astute observations. You are no longer in your, Iraq. You are in the Glass Keep, a location thought to have been lost for many years now. As to why she's, well, poking you, and Green just kind of dismissively lifts his head to see the fact, or, raise herself to look just slightly taller. Doing that. With the exception of myself, I don't think, well, anyone in the realm has seen a human here in a long time.
At this point, I'm gonna kick him in the arm.
Ma'am, are you versed in the terms of hand-to-hand combat?
Yes, I donkey kicked a snake the other day.
He just punches you in the kneecap.
Can I throw something at him with magic?
Freed is going to pinch the bridge of his nose. Oh, gross. If you wouldn't mind.
No,
Gladly. I tuck
no.
Aura under my arm and walk away.
I'm gonna bite. I'm gonna bite Okros. I'm
You
biting him.
try, you can't get through his thick, burly skin.
Actually, you know what? Can I make a recommendation for you, Mr. Okros? You should carry Aura like she's a cat with her arms and legs dangling.
By the scruff of my damn neck.
Or like around the waist, like you can't even do anything. You're just kind of there.
Like under the armpit.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
Just
I'm gonna flail and then start singing again. 99 bottles of rum on the wall. 99
Don't you
bottles of
start.
rum.
I'll
Take her down,
smite
you
you.
pass it around. 98
Oh,
bottles
gross.
of rum on the wall. 98 bottles of rum on the
I
wall.
take a wad of cleaning cloth out of my backpack and just stuff it in her mouth.
And I'm gonna spit it right back out again. 97 bottles
Jenna.
of
I'm
rum on the
holding it
wall.
in place as
Jenna,
I walk away.
will
I'm
smite
basically
you into the ether.
underarm, holding hand over her face.
So as Orkoros mutes Jenna or Aura and walks away from the Marine, Sergeant Graham looks to you, Creed, and goes, "Well, sir, if that's the case, I think you should come inside and see some of the folks we got here. Cause I'm not sure about you, but this has got my heebies real jeebied, sir. As I'm serving with folks that I read about in books, if you catch my meaning."
Sergeant, the amount of times that phrase is applicable in the past, 14 years is staggering.
As I walk away, I call back over my shoulder. Rest assured, the feeling is mutual.
He goes, "Besides the point of the large lion there holding the blue devil, along with the rest of your fine folk, let's tally ourselves inside, and I'll show you what I'm talking about, sir. Though I can give you a full report, and you can meet with the commander on site."
Sounds wonderful. And to benefit you, I'm, shall we say, intimately acquainted with the fort, as you call it.
Very
So-
well. We've made some modifications here and there, as we've had some run-ins with some of the more feistier of them that try to get through the walls, but they won't get through them a second time. But if you follow me, sir, as he turns with the rest of his squad walking into the fort, and as you enter the part of the broken wall that leads to the courtyard, you immediately understand what he was saying. The humans that are in this fort are a mix from multiple centuries. You have those that are wearing the Templar gear that Tiberius wore when he originally fought against the first Godfall. You're seeing some of them who are wearing OD greens from World War II. You're seeing some modern era-ish gear, such as, BDUs of the Korean War, as well as Vietnam. You're seeing the 1980s camouflage that came around for Desert Storm. You're seeing modern day camouflage of those that would serve in Iraqi freedom. of all different types. You're seeing some standing there talking in the same accent that you have. Some of them talking the same drawl that Sergeant Graham met you with. Some of them talking in different voices that almost match Azrael. Some of the Templars speaking in different languages that you've never heard of. That's the other humans seem to understand with clarity. And you see the one that was on the box speaking seems to be in a long leather coat with a large fur-like hat on his head, as he's speaking in a very strong accent, saying, "Today we will fight against the curses that's coming through," and it's just screaming across as they seem to be all riled up around him, of holding sharpened shovels, rifles with bayonets, muskets, shotguns, as it is just a huge mix of these humans that have appeared here in some way or another. And as he brings you towards the command center, you just continue to see just an amalgamation of different humans. You even see those that are wearing different heraldry of plate mail that seem to be carrying these massive wooden bows that seem to be firing these 3-4 foot arrows just off into the distance that find their mark, wearing pot helms, and just things that you've read in history of what your blacksmiths have made for your own wear and weapons that are now on humans that have their own ingenuity put into it, their own designs. And as you're brought to the command center, you walk in to find a man sitting behind a desk. He wears almost a golden tan uniform, that of the desert. His hair is cut, tie on the sides with a little bit of a comb on top, pipe in his mouth. And he stands with a gruff, firm voice, goes, "Thank you, Sergeant Graham. Now, who do I have here?"
My name is Creed, Watch Commander of the Service of the War Master Leandros of Raven.
That's a mighty fine title. You can call him a Colonel Stark.
A pleasure, Colonel. Your sergeant was telling me that you just appeared here. Might I inquire how you managed to find your way here?
I wish I could tell you. Now, I'm gonna put you down with the brass tacks. You seem like a man who has a good military head on his shoulders, someone who could understand the final amalgamation of this world around us. When he says that we appeared here, he does mean that we appeared here. We have been holding this fort for about a year. If I was to guesstimate by the rise and set of the sun, the number of tally marks I've made on the stones here, we've been here about a year. Now, when we appeared here, we appeared here. When I showed up, there were only 20 of us fine on the wall. The next day, there were another 10 that showed up and joined us. Then another 10, another 20, another 30. And now there's about 150 of us in this fort. None of us know why. The only thing that's common is that all of us remember dying. And so one of them, one of this man had big old beard and braids, carried axes and said that he was some kind of Viking. Said that he thinks this was Valhalla. He was fighting people left and right. He thought it was great. I don't know what the fuck that means. I believe him. Shit's great. It's also terrifying. Some of the shit that we fought so far was something straight out of a history book. But that's the only thing we got in common, is that apparently we're all supposed to be dead.
Well, I have to say, like, out of character, this campaign has been a roller coaster. Now it's an isekai. Like, I 100% did not see that coming.
We have dead humans. Okay.
Like, the last time people were brought to this world, they were alive, okay? I'm just throwing it out there. Now I have dead people showing up. I don't know how you keep finding new ways just to confuse me.
I'm the storyteller. Ha ha!
Yeah, Creed is definitely going to school himself. Not to let that show how much that baffles him. As I was once told, Colonel. And with that, he does give a bit of a confused look. The right man in the wrong place at the right time can make all the difference. And I'd say you and quite a few of your compatriots, but they qualify for that.
I guess that could be a way you look at it. We have been pushing back whatever the hell was in here. Fighting the good fight best we can with what we got. Some of us even resolved down to just doing bayonet charges. I saw a man from the 101st wearing the same getup my granddaddy had. Charge a man with the bayonet. A damn minotaur, a damn bull man. And killed him with the bayonet. I've never seen it, and I wouldn't believe you told me twice. And he's sitting there telling you about this. And you hear from down the hall someone yelling, going, "Hey, Colonel, we got another batch coming in." And Colonel just looks up and goes, "Huh. That tunnel's been dark for 3 months and now wants to give us more folks to fight. I'll take them."
I suppose it's rude. Well, I truly do believe it. But it's rude to keep our visitors waiting.
Well, let's go see who's coming through the gate now. Wonder if he's gonna be someone from before us or after us. It's the big question. And he stands up and goes to leave the office, passing the large lion folk as he looks up at you and gives Okros a solid nod as he looks at the elf
Okros
underneath
nods
his
back.
arm, and also gives her a nod, but visibly confused as he walks past you guys.
Humans smell nice. I look at Okros as I say this.
They certainly have a unique and diverse scent.
As the colonel enters the courtyard.
And then I give her a sugar cube.
Ew, sugar.
As the colonel enters the courtyard, as all of you
Or I was
follow.
gonna nibble on it. Or I was gonna nibble on her sugar cube.
As Aura nibbles on the sugar cube, you hear a voice coming down from the side. "Hey, Colonel, we got 10 more coming in. Don't know who they are, but I hear them walking up the steps." And as they come up the steps, you see they all look the same, all wearing the same uniform. Seem to be this almost tiny squares on tiny squares of just these different shades of gray. And as they're walking up, they're carrying what looks to be some form of harness that has these big old bags on the front and back. And they're just kind of trudging up the steps, very confused, as some of their bags have been opened and some are emptied. Their backpacks are still kind of put together, but these weird pouches on their front and back are just out. strings dangling out of them, thick cord. And Creed, you notice that as they all kind of come up, as the colonel starts greeting them and asking them who they are, you see ranks and names matching the rest of them. But you see that they all have the same patch on their right shoulder. That was 2 white A's back to back against the blue field on a red circle.
Well, Colonel, I'd say some men from the 82nd Airborne just showed up.
One of them looks up at you, curious, as he takes off his helmet and kind of drops his parachute bag and all of his gear. He goes, "How do you know about the 82nd? You look like something out of an art book."
And you look like something out of a history book.
He looks you up and down and he goes, "Touche."
I once knew a man who was, much like yourself, brought to this world. Served in the 82nd. Now, what the 82nd Airborne is, I have no idea, but he served in it.
What was his name?
Am I allowed to say his name?
I mean, just call him Cactus.
His nickname was Cactus. First name Douglas.
Yeah, I knew him. Good one. Staff sergeant. Worked with the artillery?
Believe so.
Yeah. Worked with him a few times, in and out. Now, how'd you run into someone like him?
He was brought to this world to, I'd suppose fight evil is the right phrasing.
He sounds like someone out of the 82nd. I think that's why we're here too, if the colonel's words are to be believed.
Would you like the short or long version?
We always appreciate the short one in the airborne.
The gods are all real and they're rather pissed.
I've always wanted to punch a god.
I'd say it's both what you would and wouldn't expect. Personally, I've only killed one, but always open to more.
Well, if you killed one, that means we can get a good tally, eh, boys? As the guys behind them are just start chuckling and they're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. There's all again Riley as the colonel points them towards a spot to go get themselves set up. And he just looks at you and goes, "We've been getting folks in and out. It's just been real interesting, folks coming through here. I don't know why, but if they're here, they're dead too. But regardless, you're here now. Are you here to help, or you're just here to see what the fuss was all about?"
So what do you mean by what all the fuss is about? Sorry.
You seeing why there are survivors at this keep?
Oh. The last time I was here was during what we refer to as the Gold Fall. When, well, as I said, all the old gods came back and, did not go well. I was also here when the Glass Keep first was under attack by Chrome, and did not go well either, that's more or less. Why those massive chunks missing from the walls.
I understand that. Well, if this Crom fella's looking for a fight, we can give him one. We've been fighting his minions every day for the past year. About time we push out and show him what for. We can use the guidance, use support.
what logistics you manage to have is about what you're going to have. As far as I'm aware, the Glass Keep burned through most of its stores in its defense, but it's regarding Chrome, I would say I would point out that's probably not going to go well. Not the first time.
I think we got a pretty good shot. He's been giving us hell for the past year. It's about time we return the favor. Even if it's just pushing outward, trying to get some kind of foothold. I mean, we're here. Might as well.
I would say managing to hold on to the Glass Keep would be sufficient. And when I say the old accords, I mean, how do you put it? Your... Damn, what did characters call them? Your... Christian? Is that the word? Whatever the bloody hell a Christian is. The gods from before your major religions.
We figured as much by the bull-headed man that charged our gates. But it don't matter much. If you want us to hold the fort we're holding, we'll keep's here. I mean, that's about all we can do at this point. We're digging in and we're holding.
Hold the keep. As long as possible. And, when the fight's done, we'll see what we can do about getting you all home.
And as you're talking to the colonel, you all can see the eerie green light from the broken spire starting to grow brighter as the light starts to touch the clouds that are above it. Almost like a column of light that reaches for the heavens. And as that light reaches up, you start to hear thunder in the distance. As the clouds above the Glass Keep begin to thicken.
Well, looks like somebody made Zeusy Poo angry.
Lightning begins to strike at the broken spire. The lightning striking what looks to be a dome that seems to have encapsulated it, shimmering off of it in waves. The clouds continue to thicken over the Glass Keep as bolts of lightning strike the sands, forcing the creatures that were charging the keep to go back towards Bracken's Pass. The soldiers on the turrets and battlements holding steady, waiting and watching. The lightning growing more intense as it continues to strike spots. And in a flash, you see multiple lightning bolts land, and in their place, you see about 40 wardens staring down the keep. As a booming voice comes across the landscape. The goddess of death has chosen to give you a boon. I, in turn, have decided to even the field. It's been too long since I've watched humans die for my amusement.
Been too long since we've seen a god bleed.
Ooh. God, I wish I had thought about that one. I was looking to see if there was a range of Etheria because I was going to say something. That's a good one. I'm kind of mad. Oh, man.
I mean, you've got the thaumaturgy. I just kind of fucking grumbled it out. You could
I'm not
always
st-
shout it out.
I'm not stealing someone's line. But I assume
line
we're
is it
we're near
anyway?
a strategically placed balcony on top of the building. Because of course, if you're viewing any events in anything ever, you always are strategically placed balconies.
I mean, you can be along the turret walls, sure.
Perfect. Ooh. You know what? I got two options. I'm trying to figure out which one I'd like better.
Mhm.
You know what? Zoe, pick a number 1 or 2.
2.
2. Ooh. I'm gonna cast Thaumaturgy. It says 30 feet, I don't care. It's gonna echo. It has been a long time since my sword has tasted of a god's blood. It's about time for it to feast again.
Was this Zeus that said this to us, or another one of his gods?
Well, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme. One of
No,
them's
I was gonna
coming
say.
after us.
No, I was gonna
Well, he's
say it's been
yelling
a
at
long
him.
time.
Old
I was gonna
man
say it's
yells
been a
at
long time
clouds.
since.
Oh.
I was gonna say it's been a long time since we killed one of Zeus's bitches.
I don't think it's Old Man Yells at Clouds. I think it's Old Man in Clouds Yells.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
I'm walking over to Ogros right now and going, by the way, here's those 8 healing potions that I picked up for you in your change.
Unrelated, but
Ah, thank you.
That's
These
this
will
is looking
come
like
in
it's going to get feisty. I'm also going to hand him 2 haste
Going to be
potions.
an exciting night.
Over, as you see the 40 wardens in front of the keep, the mobs of creatures behind them, you see almost what looks to be a set of chairs off in the distance away from it on the sidelines, where you see a man in crimson armor, pale skin, platinum hair, and red piercing eyes, sitting next to a man wearing a black toga with a skin that looks to be of bleached bone. His eyes a deep purple, almost a green flame kind of flicking up his back and over the top of his head, as they sit watching as the one wearing the black toga is slowly clapping after hearing you yell at the clouds back. And these two watch as through the masses a massive 8-foot man wearing the skull of a stag on his head with furs across his along his legs to his feet, carrying a sword that's about as tall as he is, dragging it through the sand as he comes through, simply points at you, Creed, and just goes, "Round 2! You and me, Creed! You and me!"
It's the ogre again, isn't it, or whatever he was?
It's Crom. Crom has come to take back the pride that was stolen from him by Creed. And so you have Hades and Ares watching. Zeus has sent his minions. Crom is leading them. You have 160 humans who were dead and now are no longer dead, holding this fort against monsters of their nightmares, and the 5 of you are now in the middle of it.
I have to look up the quote because I'm totally gonna steal it because it's sick and it's very applicable. There it is. I'm still gonna keep doing thaumaturgy. You can't stop me.
I wouldn't.
To every man upon this earth, death cometh sooner or late. And how can man die better than facing filth lords for the ashes of his fathers and the temples of his gods? I see your challenge, Crom. And just as I did once, I'll beat your ass again.
And the 5 of you stand now on a precipice, overwatching this field as creatures form a mass of blades and teeth and sinew. The wardens holding the front line as Crom strides up the middle between them, ready to lead the charge. The colonel has begun pulling people to the front, giving them whatever they have to spare. Bows, crossbows, rifles, anything they can spare, and pushing them to the front, telling them they are going to hold this fort. That they all know what their job is in life. To not reason why, just to do and die. Even himself taking a point at the bottom floor of it, at the main gate, a large revolver in hand, as he's surrounded by Templars and foot soldiers, all holding great swords and pikes and shields and long swords, ready to hold back whatever mass comes through. Zeus watches from high charity, his brow furrowed, anger seeping out of him. Arwen has brought a gift to you. Crom has proposed a challenge as Ares and Hades watch with anticipation. And as the 5 of you stand silhouettes against this conflict, this rising tide that you have found yourself a part of, your weapons in hand, your spirits steeled, as this isn't something you haven't dealt with before. The magic is stronger in all of you as you've taken the world stones. You face down insurmountable odds and things that would kill you in an instant. Nothing is going to stop you here.
Wait, we have all the stones now?
No, you have 2 of the 4.
Okay.
And so you stand, a lion folk and his maul, a changeling, his revolver and his explosives, his turret beside him, a paladin with a large buckler and a sword to match, a sea elf with a trident and magic that is known to smite the foes, and then the newest addition, Edarin.
Oof.
Listen, he's been here one night. Fight me.
It's all good.
Dude.
Scimitar in hand, as his weapon seems to emit this greasy black smoke from it. As you all stare down the enemies that have come to take you away. And in their hubris, they think that you're just as weak as the first time they met you. And you believe it's about time to show them what a year of difference can make. And that is where we end our session for tonight.
This is early. Usually we're not done till like 10:30.
I have started a new job, and I am exhausted.
That would do it.
Yes, that's fair.
And I also knew that if you guys wound up going to the Glass Keep, which was kind of a coin toss, I was rolling in the back end to see if it was even going to be an option. I knew that if you went there, it was going to set up this big fight for next time, that I was like, we're not going to do that tonight. We're not going to start that. We're going to set it all up, make it a big thing, and we'll deal with it next time. Because now...
Yeah,
I don't foresee us having scheduling issues because now the holidays are kind of over. We're back on a regular schedule. We got people here, like.
Or I kept her mouth shut when it came down to picking something because she was going to look at me and be like, since when have you ever bitched out of an actual fight?
I can say entirely it's a case that I know both I know both arguments. It's legitimately it's your brain telling you what you need to do versus your heart saying what you know you're going to do.
You knew we were going to choose last keep. This is Burn we're talking about.
To be honest, I was
He's
kind of
probably-
hoping I was gonna be swayed. So I can thank our wonderful lion folk for that.
Hey, you're welcome.
The bleeding heart sea elf didn't open her mouth this time. Shocker.
Yeah, amazing that you weren't just being an absolute turd. Except you were singing 99 bottles of rum on the wall whenever you didn't get your way. So that was cool.
Dude, honestly, I have to say, what I was listening to, as you're describing all this, it's like the crescendo in the song the entire way through, and I was like, God, I wish we were doing this fight now. Because I'm like, I just see it like it's like the view from Attack on Titan. You just have these massive chunks missing as we stand up, and the camera just panning out, and you see ragtag lines of human infantry from throughout history manning the walls of this battered keep, and you just have the armies of darkness at the other end of the valley with two gods off on the side and folding chairs to snacks.
Holy snap.
Like,
Also,
I mean, pretty much.
and
Yeah.
I know what's going. I think I know what's going on in the Broken Spire.
Oh,
It took
do
me
you?
it took me a second to understand, and I'm pretty sure I know what's going on in there.
I mean, what we can talk about more as we do our breakdown for the night. So let's do Zoe, who is our lovely fifth player here, Mr. Zokard, who's playing Adarian. He can tell you more about his character if he wishes during the breakdown. Just his first time. I mean, it's your first time in like an actual campaign. Is that right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So this is his first like ever step into this kind of big situation. So first off, kudos, claps all around. It is not easy to
Welcome
step
to the
into a
shit
game
show.
like this.
welcome to the shit show.
And so we'll do so what we do at the end of our sessions here, for if I ever push us to a podcast, just for people to listen to, is that we do a breakdown of good, bad, and the ugly. Basically, what was a really cool thing you saw and liked? What was like a thing that was kind of that could have been better? That was either something like you can do, I can do, we can do, whatever. And then ugly is something that was just either way left field or something really strange that just like stuck to your jaw. And so we're going to
This is
start
also
with
me.
Mr. Okros, Mr. Rexus, the good, bad, and the ugly, sir.
Well, it was nice meeting Clem again. And I definitely enjoyed when we got there trying to figure out what was going on. At first, I thought it was the fucking, like, the freed changelings or something that had somehow gotten a hold of uniforms from the keep or something. And we're like, yeah, fuck it. But no, it's a guy. That works too. Very cool. I'm definitely looking forward to the fight next session, and yeah.
Very good. All right. Mr. Stealth, Mr. Nez, good, bad, ugly.
I definitely enjoyed the RP night after, getting back together. Getting
Yes.
Zoe like into it a little bit. I always love seeing Jim. Jim the Goblin always
Jim!
perks up my character.
Jim!
Except when he makes you think you're going to lose your fingers.
Yeah, no. Honestly, like at first I was so ready to shoot it, and then like you talked about lost fingers, and I'm like, I'm like
The
second thoughts are
hesitation.
happening right now.
Do I
But-
want to do it? Do I want to do? I want to do
You're
it.
an artificer. You can always make new fingers.
Yeah, coward.
Tears off finger, picks it up. Can you put this back on, please?
Definitely ready to see what these claymores will actually do.
Oh, yeah,
And
it's
then
your
also,
secret
like, one
project.
thing. Yeah, my secret project that everyone's finally going to end up seeing. I do want to just mention, I don't know if it was heard too, when I gave Okros those potions, I did throw in the fact that, because we gotten a whole bunch of potions from last session, I handed them also 2 haste potions out of the 4. So that way he's got some
Yes,
haste
thank
potions
you.
on him.
Those have been added to my inventory.
Because haste on a barbarian's terrifying.
Indeed.
What he means to say is that haste on a barbarian is beautiful.
I mean, it depends on who's on the business end of the great axe, or in this case, the great bopping stick.
Occasionally the backhand.
Ah, the backhand, like how you killed that wizard.
The back swing's just as good.
Yeah. Back swings just as good as the front swing. He's ambidextrous, this one.
Not as good as my donkey kick.
You're gonna hold that feather in your cap till the day you die.
That is my crowning fucking glory. I am never letting that go. I have fucked up so many times. And the one time that it could have been a monumental fuckery doodock, I fucking come out on top and we got a dead snake out of it.
I mean, that's fair. So, Aura,
That's my crowning achievement.
speaking of your crowning achievements, good, bad, and the ugly from the session.
So, I don't think I had a favorite moment this time. Other than maybe meeting the human and tormenting him like I do everybody.
Wow, you didn't
Me.
like the sugar cube? Jeez.
I feel like there's some kind of insult in that, and I just haven't figured it out yet. However, there was no bad, but the ugly is I never want to see fucking Clem again. Put him
Why?
in a closet.
No, I just
and
wanted
keep
to
him
give you a
alive.
sweet treat because you were being good and I didn't have anything other than sugar cubes.
Why do you not want to see Clem? Clem enjoys your
It's
company.
It's the voice. The voice. It's like
It's
Coke
almost as if I designed his voice to do that.
Yes, no, he can go in a box and stay counting his fucking pennies.
You're mean.
And obviously
Yes,
meeting
yes,
a
she is.
Darian. He seems chill. I like him as a replacement for the other one. The other one's mean to me. This one's nice for now, I guess.
Jeez. All right.
Only
Mr.
time will really tell.
Yeah, only time. Mr. Blackburn,
Depending
Mr.
on
Crean. Who's your good, bad, and the ugly?
Always a good chance for me to talk crap to the gods. I will say, I think the ugly was realizing this is rapidly becoming a really weird anime. With like apparently people throughout time who are supposed to be dead just being isekai'd into this world to still fight and die for some reason. That's kind of messed up, you know. Like, I'm pretty sure the isekai is supposed to take you to a world where you can at least do something different, like become a blacksmith, and not just be like, hey, great news, you still got Firewatch, but it's against like minotaurs and crap. So the uglies from their perspective. No, I had fun. I always have fun when I can monologue for a little bit. So, I'm not looking forward to fighting Crom personally. I gotta say that, but I'm gonna give it the old college try.
Well, I'm sure Nez slipped you a haste potion too.
I have to thank you, Rexus. I have to thank you for the wonderful little interaction, if I can speak words correctly. You know, even the strongest
welcome.
people need to be reminded of their guidelines.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Even
I
even if
figured
I
you were
almost
gonna
gave
do it.
us, even if I almost gave fan art people an idea, which I
You
really
almost
don't
did.
want.
No,
Think of
don't
my
bring that up,
channel.
Don't bring that up.
Think of
Like,
my
you
channel.
gave people ideas. There will probably be art.
Look, there are characters who've been shown for half a frame, and people have written entire like stories upon them. So,
No.
Blackburn,
it-
stop being selfish. Think of my channel. Think of
No,
the
no,
merch.
I'd really rather not. No, all in all, it was great. It was kind of awkward going home and finding out that all these people are here now. By the way, I 100% agree with you. I thought they were going to be shapeshifters because I'm sitting here, I'm looking up gods, and I'm doing research, and I'm like, okay, how do we have to fight this guy? How do we have to fight this guy? And Arwen is known for being a shapeshifter. I'm like, oh, this is definitely a trap. I called this. It's like, no, it's not. It's exactly what it looks like, and it's like, crap.
Arwen, for those who don't know, is the Celtic god of the underworld. He's also known as the god of the hunt, god of blood, god of sport, and god of rebirth. He is most known for having a crown of stag horns. And I can't remember the game he was in, he's the one that saves Crom, who is supposedly the Celtic father of the Pantheon, when his wife is killed on a hunting trip, and basically gives Crom a fragment of his power to go take vengeance upon those that took her from him. So Arwen has a interesting character, which is why I brought him in as a deity deal with here, and why he's been sitting at the Broken Spire for so long. Weird.
I had an idea for that too, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of thankful. So, I mean, probably gonna have to do it anyways. My argument was gonna be like, he's all about the god of the hunt,
Uh-huh.
and there's no more elusive game than gods.
Yeah.
I literally appeal to his baser instinct because, you can hunt, mortal creatures any time, but, imagine sicking him on Zeus because he is literally the most elite, dangerous game you could possibly try to hunt. And just be like, buddy, hear me out. Yeah, all in all, great session, and I enjoyed myself.
And then, of course, last but certainly not least, Mr. Zoe, the newest member of the Goofy Goobers. What'd you think? What'd you like? What'd you not like? What do you want to do better?
I didn't really have a not like. It's first session, so I'm just kind of feeling things out for right now. I'm glad I didn't have to do too much just yet. The isekai bit was really cool. I actually really liked that. My ugly is we needed absolutely more Clem. There was not enough Clem.
Not enough Clem. See?
Yeah.
Zoe gets it.
Indeed.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a fun twist for Creed. As Zoe, you may not know, because you may not know all the lore of this world, humans have been gone from it for centuries. So, seeing them here in force for multiple time periods, fighting the gods that have cursed them and all this other nonsense, is a big thing that kind of shook up Creed's icebox a little bit, and that's what I was aiming for.
Seemed like it worked.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, I'm glad everybody had fun. I'm glad everyone kind of enjoyed it. I know it's a shorter one because we usually go for longer, but this week has been tumultuous for me. So if I was going to do anything, is I was going to end stream, and I was going to go either vibe and play games for a bit before I just kind of teetered off to Neverland. Because I'm now the project manager of 2 major R&D sites in the US. So it's a lot, because they gave me a bag of Legos and said, build your position. I went, okay. So that's what's happening currently.
Where's the booklet? What booklet? Uh-oh.
Yeah, no, that's it. There is no booklet. It is just bag. Just bag.
Its bag of Legos says, "Can has shovel instead?"
Yeah, can have shovel? No. Oh, well, okay. But yeah, so thank you all for being here. We're trying something new. If you guys are watching and you want to see this on the Discord side because it's easier for you or what have you, the Discord link is, of course, in the chat that we can post here. It's also in my description so that you can go and see it. If you've missed anything, you can always go to the YouTube channel that I have that has all of the episodes listed. I'm going to go back and make sure that everything is up where it's supposed to be. We have the 2 podcasts. We have the Siege of Etheria, which was the old campaign that wrapped up a few months ago. Only half of the Beyond the Veil campaign was even recorded or thought about being recorded, so that's kind of lost to the ether, but that's okay. And this, of course, is the successor to that campaign, going at the same pace as Siege of Etheria. And past that, go and check things out. I can't remember if it's this Sunday or next Sunday. I have to go and double check. Bard City is doing another D&D game. Let me see if they put it up on their event channels. Because I don't remember. The 19th.
Heir of Despair?
Yeah, the Heir of Despair.
Yeah.
So that's the 19th. So that's next Sunday. Not this one. The following. They're a good bunch of guys. They're a bunch of my friends. They're doing it. They're bringing in someone to come do it. There's going to be some guest stars. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then they're looking to do more stuff with me. So keep an eye out for more guest star stuff on my end. So it's going to be a lot of fun stuff in the pipe. So.
Hell yeah.
But thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Little steps at a time of bringing this back into what we want it to be, or what I would like it to be. It's slowly but surely kind of just making things happen, making things fun. But yeah, so we're gonna just wrap it up here and just close everything out real nicely, and we'll see you all the next time we see you. Check in with us every other Friday for D&D. The Fridays in between, we do co-op sessions and goof around. As more stuff comes up, you'll see more events in the Discord. You'll see more events from Bard City, and you'll see me. So, till then, bye-bye, everybody.
Ciao.
It was a pleasure having you around.